Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Grip Vision's coverage of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here at Richmond, as we are here for their second race of the season. We saw a phenomenal race last week at Texas Motor Speedway, and now we're going to go some short track racing. I can't wait to see exactly what happens. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. I have Taylor Burris as my co-commentator here tonight. Unfortunately, Austin Edstrom is sick. We hope he gets to feeling better. Of course, Austin Derbyshire is down behind the cameras. Taylor, how are you doing tonight, man? What do you think is going to happen here at Richmond?
Well, it's Richmond Raceway. A lot of things are going to be happening here tonight with these trucks. Drivers are going to have to be careful of where to set their truck throughout the entirety of this race. Multi-grooves, multi-racing action we'll see across the field. It's just a matter of watching out for turn 2 when they come off.
100%. Of course, looking at the track temp right now, it's about 80 degrees on the track itself, so pretty cool here in this night race. This is a tricky track. You mentioned coming off of these corners, you can get quite loose, as well as you can very easily hit the wall. So I think that's going to be a big factor here as we see qualifying, of course, in the midst of it. 2 minutes left on the clock here. Let's look at the standings so far. After a really, really tight win last week, I think it was just over, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like 1,000th or 100th or something like that. Very, very close finish last week between Heath Snyder and Keegan Sobilo. And, of course, that's represented in the points right now. Heath Snyder atop the board with 40 points to his name. Keegan Sobilo, of course, has 35 points. Brian Lorenzo, very fast driver last week, showed up and finished third. He's in third right now in the points. Luke Mahone, of course, fourth place. Andrew Hale, fifth. Jeff No, sixth place. Sean Boundy, 7th. Nicholas Casey, 8th. John Lucido, 9th. And, of course, 10th, Jason Taylor. What really struck me last week was just how a lot of these guys, I think, submitted themselves as front runners. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot more competition in this season, in this year. Last season, of course, we had a handful of drivers that were at the top of the field. I think this season is going to be even crazier.
It really is there, Brian. A lot of heavy hitters coming into play here. We're going to see also a lot of the returning favorites that have been a part of this series, and we even got a couple of other big surprises that will happen throughout the entire season of the Champions Power Equipment Truck Series. You never know who's going to show up here tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Now, of course, this is a 0.75-mile track, so, about 3/4 of a mile here. So short track racing at its finest. Next week, we're actually going to be heading to the only 2.66-mile track, Talladega. So definitely very much looking forward to that one. Isn't that quite the contrast, going short track racing to super speedway racing at the granddaddy of them all, Talladega. But, of course, we got about 20 seconds left in qualifying here before we'll have the running order set. I'm definitely ready to go short track racing. I'm wondering, I saw it fastest in practice was Keegan Sobilo, but it looks like in qualifying we got somebody different atop the board. Very much curious to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, currently it is Nathan Meyer in the number 24 machine who set the fastest lap, as qualifying has just wrapped up. 20 trucks have taken time out of the 21 starters, so we'll be looking forward to seeing a lot of things happening here tonight as we get set to go racing.
And it looks like we do have the grid set. Nathan Meyer, as you just mentioned, the 24 machine at the top of the board right now. Second place, of course, starting is going to be the 34 of Sean Boundy. Third place, Keegan Sobilo, who finished second place last week. He's going to see if he could possibly get his short track roots here. Fourth place, Andrew Hale. Fifth place, Brian Lorenzo, very strong driver last week. Sixth place, Tyler Meeks. Seventh place, George Young. He also actually had a pretty strong run, so very good qualifying run right now. Eighth place, James Harris. I'll tell you, he had a heartbreaker last week. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But John Lucido, 9th. 10th place, Stephen Pless.
Timothy Peters will be starting in 11th, followed by Garth Snyder in 12th. 13th will be John Thacker with Jason Taylor in 14th. William Mann Jr. will start in 15th. Brandon Ball in 16th. Ray Kennison will be in 17th with Anthony Ford 18th. Dan Hulwig in 19th. And Larry Fairman rounds out your 20-truck field here, riding shotgun for Larry as he will lead them around and see what he can do here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think you had all the hard names. I got all the easy ones, so that's really great. I'm glad. Hopefully that continues to be the case. But going back to what I was talking about, James Harris, I'll tell you what, he's probably not even going to want me to mention this on this broadcast, but I'll tell you, last week at Texas, he started on the pole and led he led over half the race, and unfortunately got involved in an incident late with a late race caution that took him out of contention. was a very big heartbreaker there for the driver of the 55. So you got to think he's going to be driving with with probably a lot of motivation here tonight, Taylor.
He really is. He's got to be able, though, to be careful of that. Make sure he balances out his aggression so that way he can try to redeem himself here tonight at Richmond Raceway. And, of course, this is a track where we've seen a lot of redemption throughout the years of racing around this circuit. But, of course, will these drivers be able to get through? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's going to be the question. Of course, Texas last week was fairly clean with 27 trucks, I do believe, on the track. This is going to be 20 trucks at a short track, so this is going to be a little bit different here. I do suspect we'll probably see some cautions at some point here, but a lot of times wrecks at this place can be disastrous. I mean, this is called the action track for a reason. I mean, it is a lot like a speedway, but a short track at the same time. Pace car dipped down pit road as we enter the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out for the first time, and everybody's moving. And it looks like we got some hits a little bit in the top 5. I do believe Andrew Hale not quite able to get going. He got hit in the rear, I do believe, by Tyler Meeks a little bit there. As we see side by side for second place, Keegan Sobilo already on the attack. He gets loose out of 2.
Here they come, heading down into turns 3 and 4. Keegan Sabilo trying everything he can to stay tucked up behind the driver of Sean Bounty as they come across the line. 1 lap up on the board as everyone tries to go single file to set themselves up for the long run.
See big sends right here. The 73 of John Lucido, huge send on the 99 of Brian Lorenzo. He's going to take over that 5th place position, barely able to squeeze up in front of the 99 there, but we're seeing battling all over this place. This is guaranteed to be the action track here tonight as we see Tyler Meeks, of course, making that pass on George Young, 4-7.
7th place, George Young trying to get his way around the circuit here as he drops back to 8. James Harris on the move. He'll move up to P8 as Young is stuck on the outside lane. Not the place you want to be through the middle of turns 1 and 2 for the time being as the field works their way into turns 3 and 4. He's still stuck on the top side. A couple of other trucks went up there as well, but will it work out for them? Right now it's going to be a little too difficult to tell as they come across the line. The 43 machine of Timothy Peters moving into the top 10.
Yeah, Timothy Peters. I know a lot of people have been asking some questions. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, he might be a real-life driver. As we see a big loose condition coming from, I do believe, outside of the top 10. What a save for the 5 of Garth Snyder.
Yeah, the Garth Snyder machine definitely gathers it back up and continues on for the Ohio native as he works his way back up. Can confirm possibly. Of course, the Timothy Peters in the NASCAR Truck Series that people are familiar with is from Virginia. This driver here is based out of the Pennsylvania area, so don't think it is the actual Timothy Peters that used to race in the NASCAR Truck Series.
Well, one thing that makes us think that it could have been, though, because I know we have had Grant Enfinger actually racing this series before as well. So, I mean, we have had star-studded people have dropped in, every now and again. Of course, let's get back to the racing at hand, though. Nathan Meyer in the lead. He's got about a half a second gap on Sean Bounty right now. Bounty has been trying desperately to hold off Keegan Sabilo, and so far, so good. Very much success. How big do you think Dirty Air is going to play here at a track like this? I know with the new updates and stuff like that, Dirty Air is a lot trickier to deal with.
A little bit difficult to deal with, but it can be able to be managed if you're careful with where you set your truck up at certain points of the event. You'll have to be careful of your tire wear as this race goes on. Right now it's going to be a little bit okay because the tires are fresh, cold tires heating up a little bit as we progress. But once we get 20, 30, 40 laps in the run, that's where we'll see a little bit of difference happening.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And, of course, speaking of tires, we have 3 sets that are actually down in the pits for these gentlemen here to play with. Of course, what I heard about the fuel window, we're probably not going to really have to be too concerned about that. 110 laps is the estimated, and from what James Harris told me before the race, he's like, I would not be too concerned about that, really. We'll probably see a caution that'll make it just right for these guys to make it on gas. But I think tires is going to be the name of the game as we see Andrew Hale trying to size up John Lucido right now, trying to look underneath the 73 as they battle for 4.
Currently riding on board here as we watch this battle for the 4th position a little further on. And John Lucido is definitely trying to hold on with that Traeger's Chevrolet. You see Andrew Hale putting the pressure on in the Tracker's machine as they head down the back straightaway. There's the 99 of Brian Lozano. He tried to shove the nose to the inside, could not make it work, but is able to continue on. No incident, no harm, no foul. We're going to keep on racing.
And it is incredibly difficult to pass at a track like this. You can just tell Lorenzo was desperate to try to make the move anytime he could as he gets to the back bumper of the 4. The 4 are getting a little bit loose off the corner here. And that's one of the things about it. When you get right up with this new update, with this new, physics they have kind of instituted here recently, the closer you get to someone's rear end, the less that car is going to handle. And you can tell that with Lorenzo on the rear end of the 4. It is causing the 4 to have handling woes. As you see, Lorenzo sends it again.
He tried to send it, backs it up, and is able to continue on, but he's really putting the pressure there in that number 99 Toyota. He tries to send it in on the deep side, but that Velocity Designs machine putting the pressure on, but can he survive this run? He doesn't want to overuse the tires, overheat them, and be more trouble for him later in the run, but he's got to be careful with that right now. So it's all about balance, attacking when you find the opening, but dialing it back a bit when you know it's time to just get into a rhythm, get into a run.
We're starting to see a lot of fall off on the racetrack as well. Of course, fastest laps we've seen thus far have come from the top 2 positions, 21.8s. They are now falling down to 22.3s. So a lot of fall off, almost probably a half a second right now, as the 99 still incredibly just desperate to make a pass, as we see as well. The 73 now trying to make a pass as well on Keegan Sabilo. Sabilo starting to fall back. Now, this is surprising. He is a short track guru. And this is not something we expect to see him at Richmond, but he did say this is not one of his favorite short tracks.
This is probably a lot certain people's not favorite. It's not one of my favorites for the long time. It took me a while to figure out how to get around this short track. Turn 2 was always the problem child for me as far as where to set the car up coming off corner exit. But here in turn 3 and 4, where we watch the drivers, this is the place where we will really see the new iRacing updates for the oval refresh come into play. We'll see a lot of drivers try to go up to that middle, almost right up to against the wall, but not quite yet, as we're seeing now with number 4 of Andrew Hale thinking about taking that second lane up to try to get around the circuit, build some momentum. He'll now look to the inside of Lucido, sends it in, little bit of contact, gathers it back up, okay, keep on racing as they come out of 4.
And they are still contacting one another on the front stretch here. Lucido trying to pinch the 4 down to not be able to give him a run. That's the thing about it. This is a track that, if you pinch someone down, they're not going to be able to really get the momentum off the corner as they bang again here down the backstretch heading into 3.
Door to door, beating and banging here. Short track racing at its finest inside the top 5 as they come off of turn number 4 down the front straightaway here. And it is going to be Hale that will have the position over John Lucido. Lucido, though, sends it in deep down into 1. Now they are going to be evened up down through the middle of turn 2. Off the back straightaway they will go. Hale has the advantage. They're still going to stay side by side into 3.
And what I find really interesting about this is you can see how much slower they're going because they're fighting so hard. The guys behind them are turning better lap times as a result of this, so they're going to end up having more and more company as it looks like Hale finally gets the pass completed. But can we see a crossover? And I think we will. Lucido into the rear of the 4. The 4 hangs on.
He is holding on for dear life. Here comes Lucido down to the bottom of the racetrack. How about Lorenzano? He's right there in the catbird seat, ready to capitalize. He'll go the outside of Lucido to try to get into the top 5.
What a battle. You could just tell Lucido did not want to give that position up. He was willing to do anything he could to possibly make that or get that position back. As there goes Lucido, gets loose, and that's going to open the door for James Harris as Harris sends it in 3 and 4, makes the pass.
Here's the problem for Lucido. He's now out of rhythm, out of sync. This is going to mean he's going to drop back a little bit. Thankfully, he's only got 2 more trucks behind him before he's got a little bit of breathing room. Make it now 1 truck behind him as James Harris clears him. That's Tyler Meeks. If he's able to hold off Tyler Meeks for this time, he can then just get back into his rhythm, get logging laps, and then hopefully, if he didn't burn up his equipment, can get his way back up through the field. We'll have to see how this plays out. 22 laps up on the board as we still got quite a bit of racing left to go.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for, I think, Lucido to calm back down. And you talk about getting that rhythm. When you get a little bit hot like that, when you're having to race someone at a short track, you can get a little hot under the collar. Your heart starts to beat a little bit too much, and it's hard to get calmed back down and get back into that rhythm. And hopefully Lucido is going to be able to do that. It looks like he's starting to show signs that he is starting to get back into that rhythm. He's managing to hold off Meeks so far. They're running about the same laps right now. As you see, of course, Hale is now trying to be on the attack on the 77 of Sabilo. And, of course, all of this has allowed the Nathan Meyer has pretty much been out to a pretty sizable gap right now, about 7/10 he's got on Sean Boundy.
Yeah, Nathan Myers, you're riding on board with him right now as they head off into turns 1 and 2. He's running pretty consistent lap times. He's not the fastest guy out on the track right now. That currently goes to Brian Lorenzo, who is sitting in the 5th position last time by, but he's being consistent. That's the key thing. And he's in clean air, and no one's really battling him. So that gives him plenty of room to start pulling away a little bit by a little bit. He's almost about to break into the 1 second gap lead over the rest of the field, and looks like lap traffic is just up ahead of him. So this is going to change everything in the whole scope.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we've been going green this long. I mean, a lot of times, you know, at short tracks, we get those greens or those yellow flags early. I probably just jinxed it. Shouldn't have said anything. But that's kind of bringing in that problem to where we're going to start to see that lap traffic. I mean, this is only a 3/4 of a mile racetrack, and we have 20 trucks out here, so they're bound to hit lap traffic very soon. And we've already seen the intensity already very, very high, and lap traffic is just going to make it even worse.
All about where you can place your truck to get around the lap traffic, especially for your race leader, Nathan Myers. If he's able to get around them at the right times, he can keep on clicking laps and pulling away from his competition. If he gets caught in a bad spot, such as into entrance or in the middle of a corner, then he's going to start running into problems where he will lose valuable time. He's kind of plateaued right now. He's about 0.8 of a second ahead of Sean Boundy. But let's see what happens when they start catching the tail end, which they are about to right now on the 63 of Dan Hulwig as they come off. This is the perfect spot as Hulwig gets a big wiggle off. That's going to be a little bit of problems, but you see Myers get around him in that San Diego Chevrolet as they come off of turn 4, giving him room, and now that's going to help out him to pull away just a tick as they come across the line.
And at the same time, of course, we saw Hulwig with that big moment. There also was a big moment a little bit further back. I mean, it looks like Keegan Sabila has made the pass on Sean Boundy, has now moved up into that second place position, but now they have to come on up to Hulwig, who seems like he is struggling very much so with the handling of that 63 machine. As we can see, look at the fall off we're seeing. Over a second already, and we're only 29 laps into this run. One thing that's going to be interesting as well is the dynamic track that has been recently reintroduced to iRacing. That's going to cause problems later, or it could cause maybe handling to get better as we see a big gaggle of cars battling further back. I believe that's James Harris right in the hornet's nest of this fight.
Yeah, he's looking to the inside of Dan Hulwig. Has trouble. Oh! James Harris was, as some thoughts are given out here over the radio a little bit. Let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah, it looks like James Harris just on the wrong side of this here. I think the 63 lap car was involved in this as well. But you see right there, we caught the tail end of kind of when it started. We'll take another look back at it here. But as you can clearly see, the 55 gets turned into the outside wall. And you see the lap car, the 63 right there. Harris, of course, being pressured. But you see the 63 should have went up closer to the wall, did not. And unfortunately took the 55 with him. And I'm sure Harris is probably livid. I mean, I can't really blame him for being livid here. Second week in a row he's gotten taken out, and he was having a really good night so far. And hopefully he's going to be able to get some of that damage fixed. These guys do have one fast repair available as we're looking on board with Harris. And look at that, just yeah, unfortunate. Luckily, Richmond not super high speed, so he might be able to limp without using that fast repair. I would try to save it since we're so close to the beginning of the race.
As everyone makes their way down pit road, thankfully James does have that fast repair. The problem is he's using up a fast repair early on in the race as everyone makes their way down on pit road. So we'll see how this will play out. One driver decides to stay out. That's the 46 of Anthony Ford. It's a little bit of a tough call to make this early on. You don't want to really stay out, but could be some strategy. Maybe try to save an extra set of tires in case of a late caution. That's what we could see for Anthony Ford. But given the fact of how many people are in the field right now, it's a catch-22. You could...
I totally agree. I think that it could pay dividends later in the race, but right now this is going to be a very scary decision because, I mean, he's going to be a second slower than the rest of the field. We saw how much the fall off was, but while we got a moment, I think it's a good time as any To shout out, of course, the title sponsor of this series, Champion Power Equipment. This broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CPE has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the U.S. for the North American and world markets. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. Definitely appreciate them being the title sponsor for sure. But man, this has been an exciting event here tonight. I'm so glad that Champion's back in action here. Of course, we had a great race last week at Texas, and I think that this race is definitely continuing that momentum, just entertainment. I'll tell you, I hope the fans out there are enjoying it because I sure am.
It really is exciting. We're hoping to have some more great racing action across the world of racing. I mean, we got, of course, a lot of big things happening this week in the world of iRacing, I have to say, Brian. We got, of course, the iRacing Rolex 24 happening this weekend, 24 hours of racing at Daytona, so it's going to be exciting. And yes, Grid Vision will be fielding a car this weekend, so it's going to be fun. We're going to be excited, and who knows, maybe we might stream our endeavors this weekend.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys get yourself a podium or a win. That'd be really cool. Of course, it's a long-term deal. You got endurance racing. It's not for everybody. That's for sure.
It certainly is, but we'll be looking forward to seeing how that plays out for us here this weekend, as we are now about to go double back up, ready to go racing. 36 coming to lap 37 as we go back racing here today at Richmond Raceway.
Now, this could be an interesting restart. Of course, we got a driver that's going to be on 36-lap-old tires here versus everybody else is on new tires. So we'll have to see. Nathan Meyer, I think, is going to have the advantage here on this restart, but it could be also different. It really depends on how the 46 gets going. We're getting ready to find out, though, as the pace car dives down pit road. As it looks like the 46 is now gone as he goes to the Geico restart zone. Big start from the 4 of Andrew Hale. He even thinks about taking him 3 wide on the start. Let's see what the 46 does in the 1 as we are 3 wide. Door-to-door, banging through turn 1 and 2 as Keegan Sabilo tries to get everything. The 46 almost loses it. What a save.
What a save indeed. Gathers it back up, and he's going to just take it down to pit road by the looks of it. He got some damage possibly to that number 46, or just go to the tail end and continue on racing. Yep, that's what he's going to do. He'll fall back to 20th, and then all that strategy did not pay off for him. Meanwhile, battle for the race lead. Meyer, Sabila, side by side as they head off into 3.
And it looks like Meyer has been able to get the run on that high side. That's one good thing about Richmond is you can make that middle to top group work just like you can at Iowa, but it looks like Sabilo is not done yet as he is putting a ton of pressure on the 24. Sean Bounty, of course, watching on, has a really good view, but I'll tell you what, Bounty cannot rest either. He has got John Lucido and Brian Lorenzo all over his tailpipe.
He's really putting the pressure on them as they work their way out of turn number 4. Here comes the 99 of Lorenzo as they come out of there across the line. He's going to bang wheels a little bit there with Lucido and trying to get himself going. Can't make it work, but he's got to get back down to the bottom of the racetrack before Andrew Hale fills the gap.
And I also saw Brad Thacker. He just had an issue, lost it on the front stretch, was able to gather it back up. He lost a lot of positions. He fell back to 14th position as we see this battle still raging in the top 5. Of course, John Lucido working his way now highest he's been all night up to 3rd as he tries to get clear. Oh, a little bit loose there for him. He's going to lose some momentum as it looks like Sean Bounty's going to try to see if he can take advantage to get that position back as we see side by side as well for that 5th place position. Lorenzo and Hale duking it out.
Right here as we watch the field and they work their way 2 by 2 by 2 a little bit there on 3rd on back. They gather it back up. Here comes the 34, Sean Bounty. He'll slide into 3rd position, get himself ready to go into turn 3 and 4. I got to say, Lorenzo is really trying to get that outside lane going, and James Harris back in the mix inside the top 10.
You got to really admire that for James Harris in that 55. He could have called it a day. I mean, he's like, man, last week I had a bum day. This week I'm having a bad day. But no, he gets back up on the horse. He's back up out here racing hard, and he's up in the top 10, up to 7th. Got to really admire, the willpower of this driver, the persistence, the determination as Nathan Meyer, of course, still in the lead, but not by much. Keegan Sobilo trying to hold off. Sean Bounty is now Bounty still trying to hold off to 73. There's battles going all throughout this top 10.
Here they go, heading down into the corner. Drivers get themselves situated, and there they go, gathering it back up. As we see that 73 Lucido, he's now going to go to the outside lane. James Harris is going to follow him around there on the top side as they head down into turn 1 and 2. Gathers it on through, no issues, but they're still going to stay tucked up side by side off turn 2.
I am seeing a little bit of damage on the right side, I do believe, of the 99 of Brian Lorenzo. I think something happened that we might not have seen for that 99. So that's one thing that could be slowing him down. He was moving up. Arrow, of course, is a huge deal. As you can see it right there, some scratches along the right side door of that machine. I'm curious if that's going to affect his aerodynamics. He seemed like he was a lot quicker than he was. As we see Sean Bounty getting a little bit loose, and that's going to put him under fire from James Harris. Harris looks like he has got the 4th position secured.
You've got it held on to for the time being. Let's see what happens, and they work their way through and get the run going. The 34 of Bounty, though, was one of your top 3 competitors at the first stage of the race. Now he's fallen back quite a ways to outside the top 5 and is struggling to hold on to the 6th spot, because here comes Andrew Hale. He's going to try to go around the outside, get that big Mo on his side, and try to propel his way up into the top 6. He's also got some company with Tyler Meeks right there. Your top 11 all right there within a second of each other.
Yeah, definitely, and I love what Andrew Hale's doing, and I think he's really showing the oval track refresh. You see a big loose condition from the 99 of Brian Lorenzo. He's going to be in danger of possibly falling outside of the top 10 if he doesn't get this under control, as he does fall outside of the top 5. But you can clearly see that now the top groove in 3 and 4 seems to be a feasible strategy here, as you see the 4 has really been using that.
Here they head themselves down into the middle of turns 3 and 4. Keegan Sabila trying to show the nose to the inside of Myers. Can't get the opening he needs, but James Harris, rocket out of a cannon. He's trying to go for 3rd.
Yeah, he is definitely looking really good in that 55. Of course, he's got the Champion Power Equipment logo on his car. He's got to do good. He's got to represent those guys well, considering last week, I mean, he definitely got him a lot of, I'd say, screen time, but unfortunately he did not get them the screen time they wanted at the end of the race, and I think he's trying to do exactly that here tonight as he's worked his way back up into the top 5. Nathan Meyer, though, so far has led almost every lap of tonight's competition as we just crossed the 50-lap mark. Oh, big condition. Look at that. The 77 just got incredibly loose, a snap loose condition in the middle of 1 and 2. And it looks like he is going to save it, but now he's under fire from the 73.
He's holding on now as Myers is able to get comfortably back up on head while the rest of the field battles for position by the looks of it. Sabila and Lucido are going to battle for 2nd. Then you got Hale and Harris battling for 4th. And then it's 2 by 2 a little further back as there you see Hale trying to switch it up, crossover to the bottom of the racetrack. Here goes Lorenzo. He'll loop it around, saves it, gathers it back up as they come out of 4, but loses a ton of time as drivers are still trying to negotiate around him.
Oh, no, the 99 seems like he is just, ever since he got that damage, something has gone wrong with the handling of that truck, and it just shows you the vulnerability, the weaknesses of these trucks. If you get any damage, a lot of times that could really hurt a lot, or maybe he hurt his tires. As we see a car on the bottom apron there, a lot of drivers going to be lapping him. I do believe that is Anthony Ford in the 46. But Keegan Sabilo able to hold off John Lucido. Looks like Lucido has been very, very aggressive here tonight. He wants to get a good finish. You can just tell just by the body language of that truck, the way he's been racing it. And Andrew Hale, of course, probably wants to get by him, but unfortunately, Lucido has been a tough customer tonight. And while we have a moment here, we're going to go side by side. Of course, we'll still bring you all the action. We're going to pay some attention to our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Grid Vision's coverage of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. My name is Brian Britt. Of course, Taylor Burris is my co-commentator tonight. Austin Darbyshire down behind the cameras. And what a race we have seen thus far. Of course, we're going to explain exactly why the caution flag came out right before we went to commercial there. It looks like the one, I do believe, Jeff No, I think we've had some contact with the 63 of Dan Hellewig. And that, of course, I do believe brought the caution out. Wow, look at how close that was. That could have been a whole lot worse than it was there, Taylor. But wow, this has been an exciting race. I'll tell you what, I mean, you don't know what to expect.
Jeff No nearly ended his night right there with him in the 46 of Anthony Ford. Great heads-up driving by both drivers to get around and continue on. But we're about to go double back up next time by. We'll see how this plays out. We're already just shy of 190 laps to go, actually.
And what I find really, really interesting, we saw a lot of strategies played out there. Of course, I do believe the top 10, for the most part, have elected to stay out. They have 26 laps on their equipment. James Harris, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the first car on new tires right now. Actually, no, looking at the box times here, James Harris actually spent 6.8 seconds in the box. So I think he might have taken only fuel. So I do believe, for the most part, everybody out there is on the same tires, except for possibly back in 5th place, Garth Snyder. He spent 13.9 seconds in the box. Larry Fairman, 10 seconds, so I think that might be a 2-tire stop. So we might see some new tires try to come through the field. 26 laps on tires is quite a bit.
Is a little bit, but also, though, if you think about it, Brian, everyone else ahead of James Harris is also on 26, 27 lap old tires as well. The only drivers, like you said, we got to touch on probably is, of course, the driver of Garth Snyder, Behrman, Mann, and Pless, and probably also Dan Hellewig as well. So those are the ones we'll probably, well, actually Hellewig did not pit, so that's a different story, but those are the ones we'll watch to see how the new tires plays out for them as they work their way up through the field, or if they can.
We're getting ready to find out. Nathan Meyer enters the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out here at Richmond Raceway. As Nathan Meyer, very good restart. We're taking a look on board with Andrew Hale as he is trying to get by the 77 of Keegan Sobilo. Sobilo goes high. He looks like he just did not have a great restart there. Hale tries to take advantage of it, unfortunately not able to do so. I'll tell you, a big mover here tonight has been Tyler Meeks. He's up on the back door of the top 10, or top 5, I should say, trying to knock his way in.
He is really trying to knock his way through the field, as Hale has been one of the most aggressive, I think, all night so far, trying to pound his way up into the top 5 right now, as they're 3 wide behind him as they come off of turn number 2. And so far, everyone's minding their P's and Q's, trying to get through this hornet's nest, though, is some of those drivers with the fresh tires.
Yeah, it definitely has been a hornet's nest for sure. It looks like we got some drivers hitting the wall a little bit further back here. Looks like Ray Kleinson, of course, hitting the wall, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. But so far, so good. No yellow flag at all. Side by side, though, Hale goes on the top side to try to get by Sobilo. This has been a huge battle. Sobilo, some reason, not doing so well, when it comes to his speed. Looking at lap times, 22.4 versus 22.2 from Andrew Hale.
Really good thing here is going on and work their way through. A lot of things happening here as we're trying to watch the field get through them through this event here, and it's really exciting to see how this will play out. Hale, though, working that outside lane, gets the pressure and moves up to P3. Sobilo, though, he is also going to be on the move as he tries to get himself gathered back up.
I think that's the key word there, gathered back up. It seems like he kind of lost it there under fire from Hale. Hale is coming on this season as a really, really big powerhouse. Of course, he was really strong last season, was really always known for his long run potential. I think he's showing a lot of that here tonight as well, as he's up into the third place position. Right now, he's the fastest driver in the top 5, in the top 10, to be honest right now. So we'll see if he can keep that going, see if he doesn't hurt his tires. But we'll have to wait and see as he catches up to John Lucido. Got to say, I'm very impressed with what Lucido has managed to do here. He's worked his way up to second place so far, and this has been probably one of Lucido's best runs, I'd say, at a short track.
It is a really good, excuse me, this is a good run for Lucido so far, as he is staying tucked up inside the top 3. That EPI machine really putting a lot of speed up here this race. Let's see if he can keep it up at this end of this half of the race. So we'll see a lot of different changes as we progress. Temperatures right now are dropping a little bit compared to when we started the race, so that could change things as it progresses. As we take a look at the track temp, it is up though because of all the hard racing, all the rubber being put down.
Yeah, that's one thing we got to really keep in mind is rubber is being laid down. So a lot of these drivers are going to have to really start to search for grip, and certain lines are going to start to be a little bit faster than others because before, of course, iRacing did put rubber on the track, but it wasn't really dependent on where you were running. As we see some big contact for this second place position, Andrew Hale getting physical with the 73, and I don't think this is over yet as they go through 3 and 4.
More contact, more beating and banging. It's just another Tuesday night here for the Champions Power Equipment Truck Series as they still stay side by side through the middle of the corner, and it's going to be exciting how this will play out.
And this is not the first time that the 4 and the 73 have had any issues. I mean, these guys have been beating and banging all race long. We saw earlier in the first half of the first quarter of the race, these guys were battling back and forth. So I think this is just a continuation. Round number 2 for the 73 and the 4 as they battle now for second place. So if something goes wrong with this battle, a lot of drivers might be in danger. You see Sabilo, of course, watching on, probably a little bit cautious here, not wanting to take these guys 3 wide because he could be right involved in this accident if it breaks out.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out here. And meanwhile, up ahead, Nathan Myers, he's starting to pull away a little bit further and further as these 3 are battling for position.
He probably loves this. Myers probably like, keep on battling. Let me drive away as they still are battling. You can see that they're both having handling woes. The 4 of Hale is, I think, getting a little bit frustrated, I got to say. You can see he's taking a little bit of liberties. He's leaning on the 73 quite significantly right now.
Here they come through the middle of turns 1 and 2, and Hale just tries to send it in deep as he can and works his way off corner exit. Can't get through, but is able to still drag race his competitor of John Lucido down into 3.
Yeah, this is some classic short track racing. I'm surprised these guys haven't wrecked each other yet, but they've been, beating and banging and really showing how stable these trucks are, I'd say, around this racetrack as we get closer and closer to the halfway point. We're on lap 74, coming up to 75 here next time by, as they are still battling side by side down the backstretch as Hale tries to get as much momentum on the entry as he possibly can. Can he get clear on the front stretch here? He almost does it.
Almost does it, but not able to clear him just yet. Here comes Keegan Sabila. He's going to try to get to the inside of John Lucido to feel the hole right there. Not able to. Not going to work this time. Stays tucked up behind Andrew Hale to follow him through as they come out. Meanwhile, Sean Bounty in the catbird seat.
Yeah, Hale, I think, got clear for a second. Now we're getting ready to go 3 wide here at Richmond Raceway. That's something you don't see quite often, but I think we're going to see it tonight. We've already seen it tonight. I'll tell you, look at that big moment for the 4. Andrew Hale gets loose off of 2, and unfortunately, that's going to put him right back into the fire here of John Lucido. Lucido has a don't give up attitude. I'll tell you that. Got to give a lot of respect to the 73. He has not left the 4 alone all race long, but it looks like the 4, of course, not giving up either. This has been the key word, I think, of tonight's race. The headline, if you will, is persistent. It is determination. These guys don't quit.
They fight tooth and nail here, and Hale is going to try to clear off of 4. Lucido is not giving him an inch. They dive it down into turns 1 and 2. If Hale can just get a slightly better run, and he does, off turn 2, clears John Lucido for the 2nd spot.
Yeah, now we'll see how long, and there it goes. I knew that was coming. That Hale, as soon as Hale got clear of the 73, of course, the 73 had him right where he wanted him. He put him a bumper to the rear end. I think Lucido is looking to get physical here, and that, of course, opens up the door for Keegan Sabilo. Sabilo has now, he might be able to take this 2nd position if Sabilo, or if Hale and Lucido keep fighting. I think that's what Sabilo's wanting here.
He's going to try everything right here with this race for position, but Hale now and Sabilo has been on the move. He's gathered it back up, and now is going to work his way to the inside, and they're going to drag race off turn 2.
I think Hale has realized, he started using that top again. He's like, okay, well, it seems like I'm being forced to be up here. I know how to work this top line. So the 4 is going to do everything he can. And this has allowed Nathan Meyer to pull away to over a 2nd now. So Meyer is starting to pull away, and these guys in the rear view are getting smaller and smaller as Andrew Hale has finally gotten clear for 2nd place. And now Sabilo gets loose in front of Lucido. I wonder if there was a little bit of touching there. Oh, more contact. These guys are getting so physical. There might be a brawl after this race. I'm telling you that.
Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared for the new Grid Vision boxing tournament immediately following after this race, possibly, as they work their way through, because it's going to be busy down on pit road with some of these competitors talking about what happened here in this race.
Oh, I don't doubt it, not in the slightest. And we're going to Talladega next week. We're heading to Alabama, to where you're going to have to rely on your competitors to get around that racetrack. So I don't know how safe it's going to be there in Alabama.
See how it plays out as they work their way around the circuit once again. Meanwhile, Nathan Meyer, he's kind of checked out on the field right now for the San Diego Padres number 24 machine. He's looking comfortable. Andrew Hale, he's starting to pull a little bit away as well, get some breathing room over Keegan Sabila and the rest of the field.
Yeah, and of course, Lucido starting to fall back. I think Lucido used too much of his resources. You can see the lap time starting to drop here for the 73, 23.2. I think he just tried to hold on to those positions too hard and sacrifice the tires in order to do it. Here comes Tyler Meeks. He's going to try to see if he could possibly work his way up into the top 5. I'll tell you, the 7 has looked really, really good in that Mobil 1 machine.
Good, looking strong. Let's see what he can do as this race goes on. And they head down into turns 1 and 2. And now that 77 machine, or the 7 machine actually, of Tyler Meeks gets a little bit squirrely around there. Lucido gets squirrely. Meeks tries to go around the outside, and there you see Timothy Peters and James Harris right there watching on.
Yeah, this has definitely been getting really, really exciting. Here as we're on lap, I do believe 87. We just began it, and definitely been super, super exciting. As you see, I do believe the 43 of Timothy Peters trying to work his way closer and closer to the front. Looks like he's going to move up to 6th place. This is the highest running I do believe the 43 has been all night long. So I've been really impressed with all of the drivers out here. Love that 43's paint scheme as well. I think he's in a way, I love the holographic 43. It almost reminds me of some Richard Petty style. Uh-oh. Yeah, I think we might, hopefully we can refresh and see the correct paint. But some awesome paint schemes out here on the racetrack here, as well as some awesome performances. As you see James Harris trying to see if he could possibly get by the 73 of John Lucido without getting in too much trouble, considering, think about this, Harris does not have a fast pair left, I do believe.
Watching the field here as they work their way around the circuit. James Harris looks to the inside, will complete the pass on John Lucido. Moved him up to P7 as he tries to shut the door in front of Lucido. Watch out for William N. Jr., though. He wants to work his way a little further up. He'll dive to the inside of Lucido, try to pick up a 2-for-1 special around Harris. Not going to work.
What a job for the 29. He's been running really, really good here tonight, up in the top 10 in the 8th place. I'm really impressed with what the 29's managed to do here. Of course, Brian Lorenzo was running really, really good earlier in this race. Looks like he has not recovered from that damage that it looks like he doesn't have the damage on the right side anymore, but I think that's because he probably spent some time fixing it. We do see side by side, though, for 4th place, Tyler Meeks now battling with Sean Boundy.
Don Bounty putting on a good run right here as he tries to work his way for that third spot. But so far, not going to work. It's Bounty in 6th or 5th position. Meeks and Sabila battling for the final step of the podium.
Yeah, definitely has been really, really awesome to see these guys battling, as we're now, I do believe, 60 laps from completion here at Richmond Raceway. This thing has been flying right by. I got to say, this has been a lot cleaner than I suspected it would be. Usually Richmond, the action track, is called that for a reason, but I think these guys are really going to get every bit of the use out of these tires. I'm wondering how they're going to feel towards the end of this thing. Nathan Meyer, though, starting to get ran down by Andrew Hale. 2/10 separate first and second. This is probably the most pressure that Hale, or I should say Meyer, has been under all night long.
Really is, and looking at the lap times, Andrew Hale has been putting a lot of good, consistent laps to catch back up to Nathan Myers. This is going to be exciting to see how this will play out, as now we'll see, will Hale be aggressive and try to get around Myers, or will he be a little patient, wait for the right time, wait for those tires to really start going away, and make the pass?
And this is really interesting. We saw how hard Hale was battling with Lucido earlier and Keegan Sabilo. I'm shocked that Hale has the life on these tires right now. He's one of the fastest cars. He is the fastest car on the track right now. And somehow, I don't know how that's possible, but it seems like he's figured it out. He knows how to drive aggressively while still saving tire. I got to say, I am colorfully impressed.
Yeah, very impressive run here to be able to save as much tires as he has and still be running strong, consistent laps here. Really excited to see how this will play out as the run goes on. We're only 55 laps to go in the race, so a lot of things still can happen. These trucks can go, if I remember correctly, of course they do, if I remember, Brian, have a limited fuel number instead of the full official fuel number that we normally see in the official races. So we'll see how this plays out amongst these drivers, because they will probably have to pit one more time.
Yeah, that could be definitely a factor. Of course, the estimated fuel, I do believe, for the tanks tonight is 110 laps. We are, I do believe, about 60-something laps into this run right now. We're coming up close to, I think we're now 55 laps to go. So I don't think we're going to have enough gas. We might be really, really close on fuel here. So some drivers might be considering that and maybe not driving with the amount of speed that they could be, as, of course, we see a battle going on, I do believe. Our battles going on still all over this racetrack. Most of the battles happening, though, I do believe, around that 8th and 9th position. As you can see, the 55 trying to hold off the 99 of Brian Lorenzo. Still side by side, though. Now for the lead. Look at that. Andrew Hale gets loose. And he is going to, unfortunately, lose track a little bit of Nathan Meyer. Meyer going to be able to breathe a little bit better, as they are, of course, dealing with some lap traffic. I do believe that is the 63 of Hillewig, who is on newer tires, who he actually went down pit road.
Yeah, Hillewig already did some service on his truck to be able to make it to the end of the race, but he is not going to fight amongst the leaders. He's going to hopefully stay behind, not really cause any issues as we watch the two leaders battle for position. Here comes Hillewig to the inside, try to see if he can get around. Not going to work this time by. As he gathers himself back up, he's going to stay tucked up behind the top two as Hale tries to go around the outside with some momentum. Not close enough to make anything work.
Yeah, it's been battling all race long. We haven't really even been able to talk a whole lot about our partners here with the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. So I think now we could try to see if we can get a quick ad read in, of course, for Green Mountain Grills. Or you are tired of the same old grilling routine? Elevate your barbecue game with Green Mountain Grills, the ultimate choice for enthusiasts who crave precision, performance, and mouth-watering results. Definitely a great addition to, of course, your patio. They have smart control technology, quality craftsmanship, easy to use. Of course, ready to transform your outdoor cooking experience, choose Green Mountain Grill, where every meal is an adventure and every bite is a masterpiece. Go to greenmountaingrills.com and check out and get yourself a grill. But what a race. It has been hard to even get any ad reads in because of how exciting this race has been from start to finish. Nathan Meyer, of course, trying to still hold on to this lead. Will we see anybody have to do green flag pit stops here at Richmond? I guarantee most of these drivers are not going to want to have to do that, as we see the Force still trying to make that middle to top groove work. He's been getting such great runs off the exits, but unfortunately it's been incredibly hard to pass. Looks like John Lucido pitting. He is slow on the track. Caution's out.
As the old adage says, this changes everything.
That it does. As we take a look at the replay here, let's see exactly what happened to John Lucido. Looks like he was battling with the 99 of Brian Lorenzo, and I think he decided possibly to pit here, or maybe no. I think he got tagged by Jeff No. I think he was coming to pit road, but unfortunately he slowed down, and Jeff No did not realize what the plan was for the 73, so he got tagged. And of course, Lucido into the water barrels. That's got to definitely leave some significant damage. Let's take a look through the cockpit camera. I do believe through Lucido's eyes.
And down into the corner here, let's see. Yep, he's turning to come down pit road, and unfortunately gets tagged from Jeff No behind there, and that's gonna be a fast repair, and we'll be seeing how this plays out.
Yeah, I think now's a great time. We'll go ahead and pay some attention to our sponsors. We'll be right back with the rest here of the race at Richmond Raceway. Thanks for watching.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Grid Vision's coverage of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here at Richmond Raceway. My name is Brian Britt. Of course, Taylor Burris is my co-commentator. Austin Derbyshire down behind the cameras, and what a race it has been here tonight. I tell you, Austin Edstrom, usual lead commentator here for this series. I bet he is going to be kicking himself for missing this one, Taylor, because this has been absolutely nothing short of exciting.
It really has a lot of great racing throughout the field, a lot of great battling for the lead inside the top 5. I mean, you never know who could work their way through, and we still have just under 50 laps to go.
That's right. I do believe we're coming up. I think we're going to have, 50 or 41 laps, I do believe, or 42, I should say, here to go. When the green flag flies, pace car lights are out. Nathan Meyer has led the majority of this race. He's led, I think, just a handful, or every lap except for just a handful here. So he's going to be hoping that he can seal the deal here. But just like we saw last week with James Harris, even if you lead the majority of the race, you have to lead that final one. And I think Nathan Meyer is going to try his best to see if he can do that. Pace car down pit road. We enter the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out, and Nathan Meyer does everything possible to get that lead secured as he drives away from the second place position to Andrew Hale, who's battling with Sabila.
Here they come through the middle of the turn.
Oh, there we go, the 43.
There's the caution.
And that is the 43 of Timothy Peters, who just went around. He was up, I do believe, in the top 10. Got sideways. That's the problem, though, with cold tires. I think that had something to do with that. I think, you got to get them warmed up. That's one thing that you can't really get around. I think that might be what led to that. We'll have to, of course, take a look back at it. could be some contact that was involved, or possibly I think it could have just been maybe him getting back to the gas too soon and the tires, of course, not being warmed up. Let's take a look. Big send from the 43 here on 1 and 2, and then we're going to see coming off of turn 2. Yep, right there. He just got loose. And it was so gradual, too. That's one of those things that's really difficult to correct. When it's that gradual, you barely even recognize that it's happening. As we take a look on the cockpit camera here, he was side by side with the 99 of Lorenzo, and look at that, just no warning at all. And he's probably going to be kicking himself, considering Peters has been having a fantastic run here tonight, and that's going to cause him to, all the work that he has done is going to pretty much be thrown out the window.
Yep, tough break here, as we'll see how this will play out for our field, as the 47 of Ray Kennison gets back on one of his laps, and he will join the lead lap field here.
Yeah, definitely going to be excited to probably get that lap back and, get back into it and hopefully have a chance at getting some more positions here. Let's take a quick rundown of the top 10. Nathan Meyer, of course, in first place. He's been there quite all night, pretty much. Andrew Hale sits in second, Keegan Sobilo third. Tyler Meeks has worked his way all the way up to fourth. And the 99 of Brian Lorenzo has worked his way up to fifth. James Harris, he's in sixth. Seventh, William Mann Jr. What a race for him. Eighth place, Jeff No. He's had a really good night. I think we started way further back in the pack. Is now up in eighth. Brandon Ball, haven't talked about him all night. He's in ninth. Brad Thacker is in 10th. So a lot of drivers we haven't talked about that are doing really well tonight.
Yeah, they really are, and it's going to be interesting to see how this will play out as we end the race here, as we get close to that checker flag. A lot of things still to play out, as we're going to go double up, going 1 to green this time by.
Yep, pace car lights, they still are on.
Nope,
so
still are on.
Go one more time.
Darn, was so hopeful.
You definitely tried to call it, but unfortunately the pace car driver knew you were saying that, and he just wanted to make sure that Taylor was wrong. But what a race. I tell you, I've been thoroughly enjoying it. These guys have been putting on quite the show here at Richmond, and can't wait to see what Talladega looks like. I mean, I guarantee you there's going to be some drivers that are going to leave this race tonight and going to be a little bit upset with one another. And that's going to make it, I think, really difficult to work together next week at Talladega, considering that is all about working together. Friend or foe, you always try to work together at Talladega.
You really do. You have to be able to be balanced on that, knowing when to push, knowing when to back off, knowing when to find the right lane to get around your competitors. It's going to be exciting to see the action at Talladega next Tuesday night for the Champions Power Equipment Truck Series.
Now the pace car lights are off, Taylor. But here we go, getting ready to get this thing underway. Nathan Meyer has been taking care of business so far here tonight. He qualified on the pole, and it has seemed like it's paid off quite a lot, as I do believe we're coming up to 35 or 36 laps to go here in this race. And, of course, everybody's good on fuel. Everybody's got the tires to make it to the end of this thing. It's just going to be all about actually crossing that finish line. I guarantee you that all these drivers, these laps are probably taking forever in their minds. They are, I would assume, heartbeats are starting to get a little bit, faster. Feel that pounding thud, white knuckling these wheels as the pace car down pit road. We enter the Geico restart zone. Green flag, back out. Meyer mashes the gas and is out front.
Meyer gets a great jump on the field. He'll send it down into turn 1. Here comes Hale and Sabilo as they work their way down into turns 1 and 2. Off of turn 2, Hale gets around and holds the second place, but here comes Tyler Meeks. He'll try to go around the outside of the 77 of Keegan. Can't quite make it work. Gathers it back up, slides back to 4th.
Also, we see William Mann Jr. a little bit further back, trying to look on, I do believe, the 55 of James Harris. Harris now looking in on the 99 of Brian Lorenzo. So battle for the top 5 at the moment, as we see as well. Brandon Ball trying to battle with John Lucido for the 8th place position. So there is fighting going on all over this racetrack.
Just pick a place anywhere on this track. You'll find a battle for position here as everyone tries to jockey around. They know they don't have much time left to go here. Drivers now trying to dice their way through the field. How about the 13, or is that the 17 machine of Brandon Ball? We haven't talked about him all night, inside the top 10 for the first time here this evening, as he tries to see if he can get some things going for his number 17 Chevrolet.
Yeah, Brandon Ball looking really, really good here tonight. Oh, he gets into the outside wall a little bit there. Doesn't seem like it slowed him down too much, but he is up to 9th place. Got to really be very impressed. You can actually see a little bit of damage, actually, I do believe, as a result of that contact. You probably heard us talking about him. Oh, another hit on the wall, and somebody else in front of him hit the wall as well. I do believe that might have been William Mann Jr. just tagged the wall.
Looks like he's keeping it straight. That number 29 of William Mann Jr. gathers it back up. Will continue on his way to try to hunt down James Harris in the 6th spot. He'll go to the top, real top side of the racetrack. He's got to be careful with that because off turn 2, that wall kind of indents a little bit. That could cause you some severe damage if you hit the wall off turn 2.
Yeah, definitely. That's not the place to really be running that higher side. Of course, in 3 and 4, that you can definitely do that a lot easier going onto that front stretch. Of course, Nathan Meyer, though, still in control, 3/10 on Andrew Hale. I do expect that Hale has not shown his full hand. He is every bit capable, I think, of leading this race and possibly winning this race, but can he get by Meyer? It is going to be incredibly tough to pass, as Andrew Hale probably knows better than anyone. As we see the 99, of course, of Brian Lorenzo tries to go in the inside of the 7 of Tyler Meeks, so battle for 4th place underway. But as I mentioned before, it's incredibly difficult to pass, so can the 99 make this happen? And it looks like he's still going to stay side by side. He dives it in on the 7. The 7 on this exit right here, exit 4. That's where you're going to want to run that higher side. You'll get a huge run down this kind of a, it's almost a concave front stretch that you can really get solid runs on that high side.
You really can off turn 4. The thing is, though, you want to try and make sure you stick to the bottom through the middle of turns 1, as one driver just bounced off the wall a little bit right there, gathers it back up, and will continue on his way as we are closing in on 25 laps to go.
Yeah, we are getting closer and closer to the end of this thing, and a lot of these drivers are probably just counting the sands of the hourglass, starting to run out here and trying to just hold on to get a good finish. They know things could go wrong at any moment, even though you've been having a calm race or you've been running in the top 10 all night long. It could change at a moment's notice, and I know probably someone who's feeling that pressure more than anybody has got to be the 24, as he has led almost every lap of this race. Keegan
trouble.
Oh, we got some problems. The 43, I do believe. Well, that's a 63 of Hillewig. Once again, having some problems. He stopped on the apron. No caution as of right now. I think he's going to wait to back up here. Does not want to cause a caution, as I think everything's going to be fine. He's going to get back going.
Yep, he's as long as he doesn't spin it off the corner right there as he tries to gather it back up. Here comes the leaders. Please just go down pit road to stay out of harm's way. As they approach the lap car, no, he will rejoin the track and continue on his way.
Yeah, probably does not want to go another lap down. Of course, Hillewig is right at the moment 8 laps down. So we're going to take a look back at the replay here as the battle, of course, is still on for the lead. Is starting to heat up. Let's see exactly what happened to the 63 here. And it looks like he just got loose. I would assume he probably had too much wheel in it on the exit. That's usually what happens at tracks like Richmond. Richmond is a track that you really want to have that wheel unwind on the exit. As we look, of course, lots of battling still happening here. I do believe Sean Bounty, we're just looking at him. Of course, he's trying to hold off. I do believe Brian Thacker, who's in the 56. Oh, big wiggle there. William Mann Jr. Right in front, I do believe, of, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's Brandon Ball. As Ball's going to take advantage, he's going to drive in and try to see if he can possibly work his way up into 8th.
Ball doing a great job right now as he's trying to get that 8th spot, gets around William Mann, can't clear him off turn 2, gathers it back up as they go side by side. Ball slides back into 9th as they work their way through the middle of the 3 and 4.
As well, we have that battle for the lead is starting to heat up. They're catching up to that lap car, the 63 of Hillewig. Hillewig, of course, goes high as he's going to try to see if he can let him go. He hits the wall, and he comes down in front of Andrew Hale and almost takes out the 4. This is going to definitely put the 4 on the back foot. He's going to lose some of the distance he had made up, and this is going to put him under fire possibly for the 77. I know a lot of these drivers not going to be too happy with the 63, considering that almost endangered the top 3.
It really was. That would not have been good here as they now have to gather themselves back up. This will bring in the rest of the field. Here comes the rest of the top 6 as they close in on Nathan Meyer.
Yeah, Nathan Meyer, I'd say, got out of that probably better than anybody. He almost got into the 63, but the 4 was really the one that probably had the scare of his life as we're now 20 laps to go, coming up to 19 to go, as Hale, of course, has made up that distance. But I guarantee you, that he is probably, his heart's got to be beating really, really fast because his race almost ended right there.
It really did, and he's able to thankfully keep on racing and now has to hold on to that second place. A lot of racing still to go as they head down into 1, but everyone's now got a little bit of breathing room. Now trying to just make sure they find the way to get that rhythm back going and find their way before this race is over.
We also have a pretty good battle going on right now for 6th place. John Lucido has been really sending it on the 55. They were side by side for a moment, so I know Harris has got to be really scared right now to see this 73. He's been aggressive all race long. It's shown really, really good speed, and really just, you can tell Lucido wants to get a good finish here as they go side by side again off of turn 2.
Here they come off turn 2. Harris trying to hold on as they battle for position. Here's 3 wide action a little further back as they come through the middle of turn 3 and 4. That, of course, is around the top 10 as it gets a little too close for comfort. Gathers it back up and almost had some problems.
I'm surprised that wasn't a yellow. More contact. George Young and the 56 of Brad Thacker. We still see more contact, as I do believe that's the 43 of Timothy Peters. Surprisingly, no caution. Caution flag should be, yep, it is out. Caution flag comes out with almost 15 laps to go. With just a little over 15 laps to go, I should say. Now, this is going to cause pandemonium here as we finish this race. What is the call going to be here as we take a look at the replay and see exactly how this all happened? We just saw chaos going on back here. You see George Young enters the corner very wide and gets up into the 56. The 43, unfortunately, I don't think had anywhere to go and got into the 56 attacker. Brad had to try to back up to be able to turn around, and that's what caused that caution there. And this is going to lead to every single driver except for the 63, I do believe, to come down pit road. I think, well, maybe another one stays out, probably to try to get a lap back here. Well, no, actually, Jeff No has stayed on the racetrack to gain positions. So that is the one machine has elected to stay out. He is going to move to the front of the field. And also, I think we might be seeing some wonderful season 2 tire stops. I think it could be a viable strategy. With these new updates, I have seen that it does work a lot better than you probably suspect.
Great, Pat. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think, speaking of 2 tire stop, Nathan Meyer, Andrew Hale, Brian Lorenzo, I think did take 2 tires.
This is going to be exciting to see how the 2 tire stop is going to play out for Meyer and Hale. But William Mann Jr. staying out. Jeff No realizing he needs to come down pit road as everyone else is going to get themselves situated here. But for William Mann Jr., I mean, this is going to be dicey.
He is on 32-lap-old tires. And he was already struggling. I mean, the 29 was struggling on that last run as it was. I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, battling with Brandon Ball towards the end of that last run, and it looked like he was struggling. So I don't know how this is going to go. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, Mann Jr. really wanting to get a good finish here tonight. You can tell, of course, it's early in the season. I think the incentive to get good finishes is high at the moment because you want to try to keep the season momentum going. You know, a lot of these guys want to win championships. They want to be high up in the point standings. So I think in a sense of desperation kind of playing out here with the 29.
It's going to be a lot of desperation happening here as they now get themselves lined up. William Mann Jr. is going to have to make the start of his life in order to try to see what he can do.
100%. I mean, he's 32 laps on his equipment right now, 30-plus laps. Pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to find out. I do believe we're going to be having 12 laps to go when the green flag flies. If I'm a betting man, I got to say we're probably going to see another yellow. I'm curious to say, let's go ahead and do picks. I'm going to pick Nathan Meyer. Who do you think, Taylor?
I am going to go with Andrew Hale to take home the win.
Green flag is out. Producer, what you got? And, of course, Austin Derbyshire has chosen Keegan Sabila, as we see. Oh, look at that. William Mann Jr. not getting a great start. We're seeing 3 wide, almost 4 wide as they battle for second and third. 4 wide. There we are, 4 wide as the yellow flag should be out now. Lucido just up into the outside wall hard. I'm telling you, you see that 4 wide. That's going to be a screenshot. I'm putting that on my computer background. Wow.
4 wide, and they couldn't get through it, unfortunately, but Andrew Hale takes over the race lead there as they go 3 and 4 wide. 4 wide right there off of turn 4. And
they made that work. They made that work, but Lucido further back. That's where the accident actually happened. John Lucido, this is what caused, I do believe, the caution itself. He smashed into the outside wall. The 47 as well of Ray Kennison hits the inside wall. I don't think this is actually what caused the caution. I do believe it was the 73 of John Lucido, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. And you see right there, he's getting turned around. So it was John Lucido who's been running outside or right in the top 10, top 5 all day. And let's see exactly what happened here to Lucido. He might have had some contact with another driver, and he did. Who is that?
That looks like to be these. I'll find out right quick here momentarily.
Trying to figure out exactly, because the yellow car I haven't seen. I think that might be the
Stephen Pless.
So that was Pless, and we are hearing from our producers. So Pless, of course, gets into the 73, sends him into the outside wall. This is actually, according to our producer, not the cause of the caution. I do believe, from what we're hearing, Kennison, when he spun out, that is actually what caused the caution. So curious, the bigger accident was Lucido. So that must have the caution must have came out before Lucido had his issue.
So probably what that whole situation with Lucido and Pless is, when the caution did come out, as we're about to see here, because you see the 47 spins off of turn number 2, and that's on the racing group right there. So that's going to bring out a caution. But the thing is, when he backed up on the track, everyone checking up when that caution came out, that's what caused the contact with Pless, Lucido, and everyone else.
That's correct. That is 100% on the money. That you could clearly see that the incident with the 47 happened before the incident with Lucido in the 73. So, unfortunately, we're going to go green here. I should say, fortunately, with less than 10 to go, 8 to go to be exact. Green flag is back out. Andrew Hale, probably, he just got a gift of the lead right now, and he has a really good start, and I guarantee you that Nathan Meyer is probably kicking himself right now as we see Keegan Sabilo getting loose off of turn 2, and there goes Tyler Meeks. Huge hit on the inside wall, cautions out.
Tyler Meek getting loose off corner exit, and let the chaos of Caution Fest begin here tonight at Richmond Raceway with 7 laps to go. And we're going to try to see if we can re-rack him and restack him and go at it once again. Let's take a look at the replay.
That was a hard lick for the 7 there. I'm curious exactly how this started. If he just got loose, looks like he had some contact with, I do believe, the 15 of Jason Taylor, who we haven't seen a whole lot of here tonight. Jason Taylor, of course, running up in 6th now. As you see Tyler Meeks trying to get a run on the inside of the 15. And I think the 15 got loose off of 2, came down just a hair, and got into the 7. So that's just unfortunate. Meeks has been running all night long in the top 10.
He really has, and now a tough break. He does have that fast repair, but the problem is he's already 2 laps down.
That was a hard lick on the front end. And one thing that we all know, that these trucks do not handle front end hits like that very well.
No, they do not. And with that, our officials have shortened the caution, so we should be getting 1 to go next time by, possibly, if not the following lap. So we'll see how this plays out. So it's going to be about a 4 to 5 lap shootout for this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's anybody's guess who's going to be able to get this thing. I know Andrew Hale was your pick, Taylor, so it looks like you're in pretty good. You look like things are going to go well for you. I know my pick is who's led almost the whole race. Is not looking too hot. He's in 4th place. The producer's pick, Keegan Sabilo, not bad. 3rd is not a bad place to start here towards the end of the race. But let's look at the top 10 here. Andrew Hale, of course, leads. Brian Lorenzo 2nd. Keegan Sabilo 3rd. Nathan Meyer 4th, William Mann Jr. 5th, Jason Taylor 6th, James Harris 7th, Boundy 8th, Ball 9th, and Pless in 10th.
Hey, I need those
on the backstretch. Go ahead.
I need those much needed points for the Broadcaster Championship, I have to say.
Yeah. I'm always losing. I'm never right, so I have no hope. But here we go. In the middle of 3 and 4, pace car dipping down pit road. Andrew Hale Going to take us to green flag back out in the air. And Hale gets a really good launch, kind of trying to get as much momentum as he possibly can. You see Meyer, of course, trying to see if he could possibly get side by side with the 9 of Lorenzo Sabilo, trying to hold off both of them. Sabilo loose down the backstretch.
Sabilo holds on for the time being. Lorenzo tries to keep up, but here comes Nathan Meyer off of turn number 4. He's in P4 for the moment. He's got a little bit of work to do as Andrew Hale starts to pull away inch by inch. 3 laps to go.
We're seeing a lot of battling further back here. You see, of course, Sean Bounty. He's trying to work his way up into the top 5 as he's battled with Jason Taylor in the 15 machine. The 15 doing a pretty good job of holding him off so far. We'll have to see how this lasts as, of course, Andrew Hale still in the lead. Now 2 laps to go on the racetrack. Can we make it to the white flag?
Here they come out of turn at number 2. This is the trouble spot where we'll see a lot of issues happen. Everyone minding their P's and Q's off turn number 2. Looking smooth there. Bryant, white flag this time.
Andrew Hale is going to take the white flag, and he's going to see if he could possibly take the checkered as well, as he has got, of course, 3/10 right now on Keegan Sabilo. Sabilo, though, sends it, trying to claw his way up to try to see if he could possibly get to the back bumper of the 4, but I don't think it's going to work as they enter 3 and 4. Andrew Hale, so far, so good. You can see Sabilo just driving it in deep, and for the second week in a row, Sabilo is going to finish second. Andrew Hale, though, wins at Richmond.
What a drive right there. Of course, Andrew, I have to say, had the fastest truck throughout the race. I mean, Myers just had the better strategy to be able to lead most of the race, was why he was able to pull it off. But Andrew Hale, your winner here at Richmond.
I have got to agree with you totally. And Hale was the fastest truck tonight by far. Meyer, of course, was able to qualify up front and led the majority of the race and was able to keep it. But Hale clearly was the best truck, and he went through a lot of trials and tribulations here tonight as well. And it came out on top in that Bass Pro Chevy. What a race for him, as he is, of course, going to burn it down, as I do believe we're going to take a look at our final race results here. Of course, he's going to tear that truck up a little bit more. You got to take it with him, I guess. Andrew Hale, though, your winner here at Richmond. Keegan Sabilo, second place in a row this season. Brian Lorenzo, 3rd place. Nathan Meyer finishes 4th. He led almost the whole race and unfortunately does not even get a podium. 5th place, Sean Bounty. 6th, Jason Taylor. James Harrison, 7th. Brandon Ball, 8th. Gar Snyder, 9th. And George Young finishes 10th.
Jeff No recovering to an 11th position. William Mann Jr. will come home in 12th. Stephen Pless 13th. Timothy Peters 14th. John Thacker 15th. Larry Fairman in 16th. Ryan Kennison 17th. John Lucido 18th. Anthony Ford 19th. Tyler Meeks in 20th. And Dan Hilwig will round out your 21 trucks.
And with that, we're going to take a quick step away. We'll be right back, and we'll talk to our top 3 finishers here on Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Groove Vision's coverage of Champion Power Equipment Truck Series at Richmond. And, of course, if you just joining us, we just saw a crazy good finish here where Andrew Hale came out on top. But first, of course, before we talk to him, we're going to talk to our 3rd place finisher, Brian Lorenzo. And he, of course, joins us in the booth. Brian, I mean, I know I saw a little comment last week saying these guys think I'm not an OG. I saw that, but now you get to, tell us that, in person. man, what a race for you today. You kind of saw a little bit of damage on your right side early. You were able to get that fixed, and you bounced back, and you got up here in the third. What more could you have done?
To be honest, I don't think I could have done more. Today's challenge was definitely passing, and it didn't really matter what I did. I'd go up to the top, get a run off the corner. I just get dusted out of 4, whoever's on the outside. But I think I made a good call, pitting for 2 tires, going for track position over tires, and it played out really well for us. We finished P3.
It definitely seemed like it did, for sure. A lot of drivers, I think, that finished up in that top, positions kind of took 2 tires. So interesting to note. I mean, that wasn't something that used to be a viable strategy, but glad to see that it is. But great job. How do you like Richmond? It seemed like you probably should have qualified better.
Yeah, I have good days and bad days with the track. It really depends on the car. It really depends on the car. If I'm using the next, I'm really good in like the next gen, because the next gen, there's more passing ability, and even with the Xfinity car. But in the trucks, no, it's like a brick to me. I'm more better when it comes to the mile and a half tracks.
Well, we go to, of course, Talladega next week. How do you feel like there's any hope for you there?
I'm pretty good. I know these guys from a long time ago, so I think I'm going to be able to find some teammates pretty good, pretty easily. And if I could just find myself up front with a few laps to go, I think we could go win that thing.
Well, we definitely wish you the best of luck. Who can we shout out, Brian, after your third place finish?
Got to shout out Velocity Designs, my own painting brand. Giving us another beautiful scheme. I see on the stream, unfortunately, it didn't load up. I have no idea why. But all good. Thank you guys for obviously staying late with us again. I think this league has served two pretty good races so far. Some close racing. I'm happy that at least it wasn't boring. Thanks to James and Champion Power Equipment for making this all possible and letting us race every Tuesday and letting us have fun. That's it.
Alrighty. Well, definitely, I think it was not boring. I can clearly stand behind that statement, Brian. But we'll see you next week at Talladega, brother. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you again.
Awesome.
Alrighty, that was Brian Lorenzo. Of course, next up, we're going to be talking to Keegan Sobilo, finishing in the second place position again here this week.
Here with Keegan Sobilo, who comes home in second place. Keegan, another top 2 finish for you here today. I mean, a lot of things that we got to be looking forward to for you for the rest of the season as a good points night.
Yeah, it was a fun night tonight. This is one of the very few places I feel that I can deliver and not have to kind of be lucky here. These are one of the places I know I could contend and keep up and be a factor in. So, fun racer. Lucky to get a P2 finish a little bit out of that one. Kind of ran P3 all night long. Just kind of rode around, saved our stuff. Didn't really have too much. Didn't want to really go up there and race quite yet. And then kind of the opportunities fell the right way to go get it.
And now the question is going to be, Talladega, could we see you try and finally break it to where we can see you up at number 1 instead of number 2 this next week?
I will tell you, second sucks 2 weeks in a row. But I'm actually looking forward to Talladega. I know he was unable to make it tonight. My teammate Ed DeBoer, he was running last week at Texas. We always stick together on super speedways, and no matter what we're in, we normally seem to be controlling the pack and kind of leading up front, no matter what league we're in different leagues we've been able to do it. So if he's all going to make it for next week, I think it's going to be a good week for us, and that's kind of the goal. And just the main thing with the super speedways is keeping the points up, because it's easy to lose it and be leading on the last lap and then go down to 15th and lose everything you worked for. So just on a big picture standpoint, with 3 of those super speedways this year, I think that's where the championship's going to be decided, is consistency and luck on those.
Well, Keegan, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to say thank you to?
Yeah, thank you to all the sponsors in the car, After Hours Restorations, United States Racing League, Sevilla Racing Esports, Johnson Racing Team, Ebenbox, Josbowski Designs, Dylan Cato for putting this paint together for me. Thank you to Champion Power Equipment, Grid Vision for everything that you guys do, and everyone that makes this possible. Thank you to Sean Bounty, good running with you tonight and chatting with you as always, and my teammate Ed DeBoer, who races in this league, wasn't able to make it tonight, but hopefully we'll see him out there next week at Talladega and have some fun there. And congratulations to Andrew Howell. I know he's been trying to break that streak to getting his first win, and he earned it tonight.
That is Keegan Sabila, who comes home in second place, as we are now joined by our race winner, Andrew Hale. He is with, of course, Brian Britt.
Andrew, what a race for you tonight. I mean, we even said it at the end when you crossed the start-finish line. You were the best truck. You had the best truck. You seemed like, even though you had to go through a lot of, I'd say, speed bumps and issues with trying to pass people and beating and banging, it seemed like you still were able to save tire and be good on the long run, even with all the aggressive driving. I mean, walk us through, what do you think made you stronger than everybody here tonight?
I'm pretty good at handling a truck once it starts to get tight. Just dragging that brake a little more, letting it roll a little bit, then picking the throttle up. Yeah, it was fun. The 73 got me a little aggravated there. Kept dooring me down the straightaway, and then I cleared him and he tries to wreck me. Yeah, didn't do too good of a job. But,
yeah, we kind of noticed all that. I mean, of course, there was some contact to your rear end, but you were able to keep it going, which is really shocking, to say the least.
Yeah, I looked in the mirror and I seen him closing fast, so I already had the wheel cocked to the right and knew it was coming. And, I mean, I knew I doored him a few times in the center, but we were both fighting for the bottom. He was trying to hold me down, I was trying to run him up. It's short track. But it was fun.
It definitely seemed like a lot of fun. Now, of course, you were able to get through all of that and get to the end. You guys, I think, took 2 tires, and it was able to get you kind of the track position, as well as you saw some issues on the racetrack that just kind of helped you out. I mean, there was even some 4-wide racing. I mean, how chaotic was it there at the end?
Yeah, I knew on that restart, man, he keyed up and said he was on old tires. And I keyed up and said, just make sure you wash up. I was just joking with him, and yeah, he took the 24 up, and I said, this is my time.
You definitely took advantage of that for sure. Now, I mean, of course, you, like we said, I mean, you earned it. I'm not saying that you were gifted the win at all, because you had the speed. I think if you had maybe had a little bit of a longer run, you were pressuring Meyer quite a bit. I mean, do you think you would have gotten that pass done?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there was really close lap times, and I was trying to show him that the top was better, but really the bottom was better in 1 and 2. Just the momentum off of 2 was how I was pulling back to his bumper, and he fell for it a few times, missed the center. I got there, but then he had the momentum back by me. It was just, and then I fell back, and I was just going to ride a little bit, let the tires cool down, and take another charge at it, and then the caution falls.
Definitely a great job for you tonight, getting that trophy here in the second race of this season. Talladega comes up next week. What does this do for your mindset going into that track?
The last super speedway I was at, I ran really good at the top. Talladega's wide, so that's probably where I'll go near the end if I'm there.
All righty. Well, can we get a shout out to anybody after this big win? I mean, I know this has got to be a special one here at Richmond.
Yeah, this is my first win, second season with these guys. They race fairly clean. It's hard racing, but it's fun. Champion Power Equipment for putting this thing on. Jason Taylor for getting me in here. Thacker for helping me. Speaking of that, I got to get him to help me put a banner on this thing. And that's about it.
Well, I'll tell you, you said it is your first win. I thought you were just joking, because I mean, you've been so successful, but never broken through the victory lane. That's kind of surprising to me, but still, definitely celebrate this one for sure, and we'll celebrate it with you. And can't wait to see how Talladega looks, and seeing if you could possibly maybe get a championship. We'll definitely be rooting for you. But have a great night, Andrew.
Appreciate you guys.
Alrighty, that was Andrew Hale, driver of the 4 Machine. What a awesome show he put on tonight. Well, don't you agree, Taylor?
Absolutely. Great drive, great run, great racing all throughout the night here at Richmond Raceway for the Champions Power Equipment Truck Series. Can only imagine what the rest of the season will hold.
100%. And, of course, we definitely appreciated everybody out there tuning in. From the entire Grid Vision team, Of course, Austin Derbyshire, who did a great job behind the cameras. We wish Austin Edstrom the best in getting better and being back next week at Talladega. I want to thank you as well, Taylor, for filling in for us. It was a pleasure to work with you. Of course, if anybody would like to have their league broadcasted, make sure you contact us on Facebook or email us at gridvision, or I should say info@gridvision.live. Congratulations to Andrew Hale once again on winning tonight's race from Richmond Raceway. This has been, of course, Grid Vision. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.